welcome everybody to our Conscious Leader Circle. We meet once a month to support each other through these uncertain and changing times, to help each other be grounded, energized, and focused. And our special guest today is Jessica Ray, who is a beautiful person, amazing healer, and conscious leader. And I wrote a little blurb about how I met Jessica. It was divine intervention. I had this crisis with one of my horses that had a mystery illness, and I searched far and wide for help. And then I was guided to this horseman in Vancouver who I flew in. He said he could help my horse, so of course I did that. And then when he ran out of options, he sat under a tree by the barn and had a download, and it was to contact Jessica. So as the expression goes, the Lord works in mysterious ways. And Jessica has helped me with my horses. She's an amazing healer. And I will read a little bit of her incredible bio. So Jessica lives in farm country, an hour east of Toronto, with her husband and 3 girls. They have been at the forefront of Canada's CBD industry, learning from the bottom up for the last 5 years. It was in 2018 when the laws changed in favor of the farmer, which allowed them to sell the flowering tops of the hemp plant where CBD is extracted from. Access to machinery, resources, and knowledge about growing high CBD hemp were scarce in Canada. After 5 years of experimenting with different genetics and farming practices, they finally got it right, growing strains that exceeded their expectations in CBD concentration. Jessica has been perfecting her expertise in extracting beneficial compounds from the cannabis plant, and now has a successful line of health products. And you also have a clinic, is that correct, Jessica?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jessica's going to share about how CBD oil can help all of us, humans and horses. And I'll pass it over to Jessica.
Okay, thanks for the lovely introduction, Lydia. One of the most amazing people that I know. So that's high praise coming from you. We've had wonderful interactions over the years, and I have to say one of the greatest things that you've taught me is diet for horses. Just absolutely amazing. And I know, I don't know how many of the participants are horse people like myself and Lydia, but she has just a huge heart and an amazing operation, and horses living into like high senior years, and it's just all of your wonderful information, and I've enjoyed all of our interactions. So thank you for having me here. Yeah, let's talk about CBD. I'll just give a bit more of an introduction about myself. My original training is I'm a practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine. So that is stuff like acupuncture, herbal medicine, pulse diagnosis, and things like that. I spent 8 years in school with teachers who were heads of hospitals in China. I got a really fantastic education. And then I spent almost 10 years in practice before I started doing other stuff. I maybe got a little bit of a burnout dealing with people who don't really know about the medicine. It's such a high level medicine, and sometimes it's hard to get across to the average person of how amazing it is. So I did feel I got a bit of burnout in that, and look for other things to do with my life, and I still have all of that information, and I do see the odd friend or family these days for Chinese medicine, but I'm so into farming and plant medicine and all of its amazing things. And so, yes, I'm on the farm. We're growing CBD, and my passion is horses. Aside from that, I'm a budding horse trainer in infancy stages. I can't say I've trained any horses specifically yet, but I do have my own horses, and I'm working towards training them and learning the ins and outs of horse training. Okay, so how did I get here telling this wonderful group about the amazing benefits of CBD? Well, I have been on a mission to learn and practice medicines that get results. So if it's outside of what I'm already doing, and I find something else is on the forefront of, or on the old front, the new front, the old front, whatever front, something that works and has promise to be amazing, I'm all in. I will drop everything, and that will become my focus in life until I'm there, you know, immersed in it, doing it. And CBD is no different. I happened to grow up in the cannabis industry. My parents owned started one of the first indoor gardening companies in Canada, still one of the biggest companies today. And so I've grown up in the industry of indoor cannabis growing and gardening. And of course, when we were on the forefront of legalization, I wanted to be there. And it was at that time that CBD became popular in natural medicine and had some hope for what it does. So let's get into that. I also will say that I believe the #1 rule in medicine is do no harm. So anything that I want to get into and that I want to promote, it has to fit within this framework of being effective, but it has to do no harm. Okay, so what do I want to say about the cannabis plant from where CBD comes from? Cannabis is a plant, and it's evolved with humans throughout our entire evolution. It was already in existence when we were, you know, in our infancies of humanity. And it's brought a lot of healing to humanity throughout its evolution. But I have a question. Are we getting smarter and more civilized over time? Or are we complicating simple cures with our politics? So that's a big theme. I believe cannabis is one of those things that's been overcomplicated with politics, and we just need to get back to the simplicity of the plant and the plant in its wholeness for its medicine. So cannabis has been controversial. It's endured a decades-long prohibition, mainly I would say because it was a competitor to cotton. So it was politically demonized. There was a campaign, a propaganda campaign made to make it seem like you're a crazed drug addict. So that was what they call reefer madness, right? So there's, has anybody seen the movie Reefer Madness or kind of know about that? So that was a propagandized movie which made people who take cannabis in any forms, made them out to be like crazed maniacs. And that took hold in the psyche of people, and here we are today. So we're trying to emerge out of that prohibition phase now. And so you may ask, well, why would you be interested in CBD these days? Well, CBD has some really amazing health benefit and none of the side effects, as natural medicine usually doesn't have a lot of side effects because it's not working in a drug-like fashion. Okay, so it's more of a supplement. It mostly brings only benefit to you. Okay, so some of the common things that CBD is treating these days would be pain. Pain is the biggest thing, and we'll go through some of the mechanisms of why CBD is good for pain. Tied to pain, it's good for inflammation. It's a strong anti-inflammatory compound. We can go through that as well. It's an anti-epileptic, so it's treating all forms of epilepsy very effectively. We have a number of pediatric patients in our clinic with just fantastic stories of CBD controlling children's, adults' epilepsy. Anxiety. So people are taking CBD to calm down in this crazy world we're living in. Insomnia. So it's effectively helping people to sleep, and treating depression also. I have one patient who sticks out in my mind, and her story is really worth sharing about her depression, just because it's absolutely wild. she was the victim of what do you call it? An exorcism. So her mother was convinced that she was possessed by the devil and used to put her through honest to goodness exorcism routines, okay? Throughout her life. I mean, absolutely traumatized. She woke up every day sick to her stomach, waking up like, I can't believe I have to live in this life. And it was CBD that allowed her, she would take some while she was still in bed, an oil, and it would calm her nervous system down and calm her stomach down enough that she could get out of bed. And since she's become one of our patients, she's been able to finish her school and get employment and start living a normal life. So, I mean, it's just a heart-wrenching and heartwarming story all at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to read you a quote that I found really interesting, and this is from an article that I have referenced, and I do have some references available from some articles if anybody is interested in reading further. This is a quote from the editor of an article called "Getting High on the Endocannabinoid System." So the endogenous cannabinoid system, named for the plant that led to its discovery, is one of the most important physiologic systems involved in establishing and maintaining human health. Endocannabinoids and their receptors are found throughout the body, in the brain, organs, connective tissues, glands, and immune cells. With its complex actions in our immune system, nervous system, and virtually all of the body's organs, the endocannabinoids are literally a bridge between body and mind. By understanding this system, we begin to see a mechanism that could connect brain activity and states of physical health and disease. Okay, so what we'll go through is basically that. So we'll start with the endocannabinoid system. Okay, so it's another system in our body, just like our circulatory system, our lymphatic system, our digestive system, our nervous system. We have an endocannabinoid system, and it's new in science. I would say, you know, within the last 50 to 30 years, we've been discovering more. So endo means within our own body, and cannabinoid is, you know, cannabinoids. So cannabinoids are a certain type of molecule. And so we have endocannabinoids, which are found in our own body. So our own body manufactures its own cannabinoids. I mean, if you want to get technical, they're called anandamide and 2-AG. You'll probably never remember that. It doesn't matter. So our body manufactures 2 cannabinoids, okay? And then we have phytocannabinoids. So those are the cannabinoids in the plant. And CBD is one such cannabinoid, okay? Another cannabinoid that you've probably all heard of is THC, okay? THC is the molecule in cannabis that makes you high, okay? That classic, you know, stoner thing. Okay, so THC. By the way, THC has many great health benefits also, but it does have the side effect, sometimes wanted, sometimes unwanted, of making you high. There's other cannabinoids, CBN, CBG, THCV. I don't need to bore you with them. There's hundreds, and they all have promising, very promising health aspects. Okay, so our body manufactures these cannabinoids within our body, and they interact with receptors in the endocannabinoid system, which are found throughout our body. So we have CB1 receptors, which are mostly found in our brain, and then we have CB2 receptors, which are found throughout our body, mostly tied to the immune system. Okay, so THC actually is the main cannabinoid that interacts with the receptors in our cannabinoid system in our body, and CBD in a roundabout way reacts with those receptors. Okay, For example, CBD reacts with our 5-HT serotonin receptor, and that's how it affects our mood and can treat psychiatric and psychotic disorders. In fact, we have our TRPV1 receptor, which is how CBD interacts with that receptor, and that's how it affects pain relief and pain in our body. Okay, biggest question, can CBD make me high? No, it can't. As I said, THC is the only cannabinoid that can make you high. What else? CBD. Okay, here's a common misconception. What's the difference between hemp oil and CBD oil? Okay, so okay, we know how the molecule of CBD is interacting with our body. Now let's talk a little bit about where that CBD comes from. Okay, so cannabis is a plant. It can contain many different cannabinoids, and how it works is you get the CBD from a plant that's naturally high in CBD, so a certain strain of cannabis. So just like you take tomatoes, okay, tomatoes is one group of plant, but you can have a very wide range of tomatoes that you can get. You can get cherry tomatoes, plum tomatoes, black tomatoes, yellow tomatoes. Those are all different strains of tomatoes within the tomato plant, and a cannabis plant is the exact same. So you can, instead of having a large tomato, this one strain of cannabis may be very high in CBD, versus another one will be high in THC. And people are finding strains that are high in both. But for my purposes, I'm on a hunt to find the strains that are very high in CBD, and almost zero THC. So I grow hemp. I have a hemp license, and to qualify as hemp, cannabis has to be, it doesn't matter how high in other cannabinoids like CBD it is, but it has to be under the threshold of 0.3% THC, which is virtually none. It's so low, it's non-existent. So yeah, we're getting to that point in experimenting with plant genetics that we have those great strains available now. And so as the cannabis plant grows, it has these flowering tops on it with oil, very oily resin capsules all over it. So if you've, I would have shown a picture at this point of what that looks like, but it doesn't matter. It's really sticky. Okay, so this plant is full of oil glands and resin. If you touch it, it's sticky and it comes all over your hand. Okay, so it's in all that that oil and resin that the CBD is made and held. And so in order to take that now into a product, we have to extract it. Very many ways of extracting CBD. Very, very basically, all the cannabinoids are oil soluble. So we can extract it either with an alcohol or with an oil. So you can, like in its simplest form, you can cut that cannabis plant down, take that flowering top off, soak it in some oil or alcohol if you want to make a tincture, and there you go, there's your medicine. It can be as simple as that. Of course, it can be a lot more complicated, where I'm making concentrates and putting it into various different products. But in its simplest form, cut the flowering top off, soak it in some oil, and there's your medicine. Strain it, and there you go. CBD is good for all animals, horses, dogs, cats. If you look on Google Scholar, you will see some articles where they have noticed some elevated liver enzymes in, say, dogs. So some veterinarians will be skeptical about giving CBD to dogs because they will reference that one article. I would counter with examining that article and noting that in that study, they used extremely high amounts of CBD, way beyond an average dose. So too much of anything is definitely not a good thing. So in my opinion, I think it's safe. Everything that every supplement should be have a break now and again. Nothing should be taken continuously all the time. But the same for your horses, dogs, cats. I think it can help elderly pets live a wonderful life when arthritis and such starts to set in, and people alike. So that's a bit about CBD. If anybody has any particular questions, I'd be happy to answer questions.
Any questions for Jessica? Thank you, Jessica. That was amazing. Just a beautiful combination of science, your scientific mind, and spirituality and compassion and your own experience. So thank you for that. That was incredible.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So Rose.
I say Rose has a question.
Did Rose, would you like to, do you have a question, Rose?
Right. Okay, I'm unmuting. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jessica. Thank you so much.
Hi.
I'm really excited to be here because I've been wanting to try CBD oil, but I've been looking for a Canadian product.
Okay.
And so I have two questions. So one is
Sure.
related to the geography.
Mhm.
Would it be true? This is just my sense, because even when I work with stones like crystals, or, you know, we look in our gardens, it's the local plants. They actually have a different composition that is more suited to us who are living on that land. So I'm just curious about that. And then my second question is, I'm really excited about the epilepsy thing you were mentioning, because I had a pretty big head injury some time back, but I have these it's a really funny residual effect. I've been told it's mini epileptic seizures in the brain. It feels like I'm not connected. My neurons aren't synapsing. It's getting much better, but it's still there. Have you ever heard of that?
Definitely. The first part, I didn't quite understand what the question is, but I can speak on the second part. Did you say it was from a trauma?
Yes.
Yeah, so something I didn't mention, and I should have, because it's actually really important. I just tried to condense for the time because it's such a huge topic, but CBD is actually a very powerful neuroprotectant. So they're using CBD for concussions. So right away after a concussion, and of course healing from a concussion. There's CBD in research for dementia patients. So anything to do with the nervous system, the central nervous system, and the brain, and repairing the brain, CBD is in the forefront. It's doing amazing things. So yes, in terms of your epilepsy and your head trauma, CBD is definitely indicated. And yeah.
Okay, great. So even if the head trauma has been a while ago, because I've had quite a few.
Anytime.
Oh, thank God.
Anytime.
I was kind of worried about old age coming on and what was going to happen. I was afraid I was going to, you know, okay. The first question was just about geography. Like, do you think that the plants, that there's an importance to consuming a locally grown product?
Oh, definitely. Everybody should, and that ties in with Chinese medicine and Chinese medicated diet is eating locally. And yeah, I'm really passionate about regenerative agriculture and being one with the land and working with the land. We're not quite, well, we're not certified organic, but we haven't put any herbicides or pesticides on the land since we've been there for about 5 years. And then also tying in with eating locally is making sure that your local area has enough nutrients in it. So that's an issue, and that ties in with regenerative agriculture also. So trying to put the health back into the science with or into the farm, whatever the soil. Yeah.
Okay.
mycelium and all that kind of stuff. So yes, I do think it's important to consume the products locally if and when possible. Yeah.
I do too. So thank you so much for having this available. I'll be heading over to your website after. Okay. And
Excellent.
thanks for the about the
Yeah.
brain too. Okay.
Yeah, no
Thank you.
problem. Can't hear you, Lydia.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you. That was awesome, Jessica. There's a question in the chat about how do you know the dosage for the CBD that you want to use?
Oh, great question. Great question. So there's no maximum, first of all. So CBD is safe to take in high doses. I find the biggest obstacle to a high dose is the price. So you're looking at about average $60, upwards of $90 for about 1,000 milligrams of CBD. So I personally sell a 50 milliliter bottle with 1,000 milligrams in it for $60. So I try to stay on the low end of the price scale to keep it affordable for people. I do find that the big companies are, they're just putting their markup incredibly high for no reason, when in fact they have the ability to bring the price down with their huge equipment. But an average dose, I would consider to be 20 milligrams of CBD. And you can take that 2 to 3 times a day. So CBD is lasting in your system for about 8 hours. So if you want to keep a very consistent dose in your body, you would take it that 3 times a day. What I recommend to people is it's very, very individual depending on what you're treating. Now, if you're treating epilepsy, I do have a specific dose regime, which is a little bit complicated for me to explain here, but I'd be happy to share with anybody individually. But what I say to people, whether you're treating pain, anxiety, insomnia, is start around that 20 milligram dose and then just increase there in increments of about 10 milligrams until you get your desired effect. Start at the low end so that you're taking as little as possible to save as much money as you can. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
A note also, I'll let everybody know, there's some buzzwords in terms of, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of full spectrum or CBD isolate. So if you're ever looking at a product and it says CBD isolate, what that means is the CBD is isolated, and it usually in its raw form comes in a powder. It's just the CBD molecule. And it's effective, but it's a fraction of the effectiveness of what full spectrum CBD is. So full spectrum means that the CBD is there, but also all the other beneficial components of the cannabis plant are in there too. So meaning the very small amount of THC, 0.3%, THCV, CBN, CBG, and the terpenes. I didn't talk about terpenes at all, but I just spent a minute talking about terpenes because they're fascinating, okay? Terpenes, very simply, are the molecules in plants that give them their smell, okay? So what makes the rose peel have that aroma, or the frankincense, or the lilacs, okay? So the terpenes are the molecules of smell, and the molecules of terpenes are what they are. It doesn't matter what they're in. So the terpenes in a lemon that make it smell like a lemon can also be present in the cannabis plant. And that's why you can have cannabis strains that smell like strawberries, blueberries, pineapples, lemons, lilacs, pine, pepper. All of those different things can be present in the cannabis plant. And that's what makes the strains different, is the different terpene profiles in the plant. And those terpenes are extremely medicinal on their own. Okay, so when they say pink kush treats headaches, it's because that terpene profile and the terpenes that are in there, linalool, pinene, those are geared towards treating that thing. So full spectrum means that it has the fullness of all of the goodness of what cannabis has to offer, the terpenes, the other cannabinoids, including the CBD.
Wow, you're an encyclopedia. We're We could listen to all your wisdom and knowledge and expertise all day. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
Thanks.
Martin, go ahead. Do you have a question?
Yes. I was just noticing on the dosage and everything, but if I wanted to use it as a topical rather than tincture internal, is there a difference or?
Yes, there's a difference. It's known to be quite an effective topical, and you can take it. So I actually make a cream with CBD in it, and it's very effective. But you can, same thing. Take the oil and rub it on your pain spot or your skin condition or anything. Do you mind sharing the reason why you would want to use it? Is it for pain?
Oh yeah, I've got a lot of
Pain.
muscle injuries.
It's quite effective
All over the
topically
place.
also. Yeah.
Yeah. So would it be different if I had it internally? Like it would.
Well, I would
muscles
say,
just
I would say both is better. So if you're treating it from internally and also topically, I would say that's the best that you could do. Excuse me for 1 second.
It's amazing all the uses and applications of CBD. And Jessica's knowledge is so impressive, and her experience. I'm just kind of in awe of our discussion today.
An issue with this work, whatever.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yes, internal and external is the best. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I just have a hard time wrapping this around in my head because I think about muscle being on my hand or my arm, and taking something internally for the muscle on my hand. I don't get it. Like it doesn't.
Well, here's a great thing. You know, the pain in your hand is only messages being sent to your brain. It's all in your brain. Okay, you're feeling the pain in your hand, but it's messages being sent to your brain, and your brain is saying, I have a pain here. So CBD is telling your brain, is blocking signals, as I said up here. So CBD is interacting with your TRPV1 receptor, which is in your brain, which is responsible for pain and inflammation. Okay, so it's literally, you know, shutting off your pain. You look at Advil, it's the same thing, you know, shutting off the pain in your hand. You know, you can take, you know, some Oxycontin or fentanyl and you won't feel your hand pain either. But this is a much better answer for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the Advil is like, maybe I take it twice a year, you know, absolutely, you know, when I broke my arm, for sure, take this.
100% broken bones need some strong pain relief. Yep.
Anything else, Martin?
No, I think I got it. It just takes a lot for me to believe the huge difference.
Well, experience is everything. I would recommend give it a try. You know, CBD is not something that you have to believe in. It's you know, it is what it is. It speaks for itself. And I will say also, CBD is not a miracle thing. You know, have I come across people with pain and CBD doesn't help their pain? Absolutely. It's not 100% for everybody across the board, but it's in the race.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Martin. There's a question in the chat that my cat has a wound above one eye that is slow to heal. Could I rub some CBD oil on it?
My answer to that is give it a try. Give it a try. Yeah. I don't know, you know, I need a lot more information. Is your cat elderly? Maybe that's why it has slow healing. But I can say it definitely won't hurt.
Here it says because he keeps scratching it, and I guess it keeps reopening the wound. Is there, maybe the question relates to, I know sometimes I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, I would say the CBD, if you give your cat internally, may help to calm your cat down so that he's not scratching the eye as much. So maybe help to calm down the anxiety of that cat. I was treating somebody's, well, no, let me take that back. I was not treating anybody's animal. I knew somebody who was treating their animal, and it was a rescue dog, and it kept biting itself as like a nervous thing. The CBD took that anxiety way down, and the dog stopped, you know, trying to tear its own flesh apart. So if it's along those lines, definitely, but what I can say is it definitely won't hurt to give it a try.
Okay, and there's another question in the chat. I'm wondering if CBD can help with diverticulitis, fatty liver, and kidney tumors.
Okay, diverticulitis, most definitely. So that's inflammatory related. So yes, it has a great ability to help to regulate the digestive system. As I said, a lot of those cannabinoid receptors are spread throughout our body, including in our digestive system and our immune system. So your diverticulitis, most definitely. Fatty liver, I don't want to say yes or no. And kidney tumors, that's also, I don't want to make outrageous claims on those things, but maybe yes, maybe no. I've seen absolutely amazing things. Like one woman was treating her own cancer, and I tell people who are trying to treat their cancer with CBD, it's just not going to work, because people are trying to avoid being high to treat their cancer. Like typically cancer is treated with high THC cannabis, and so some people try to just take CBD, and I say I don't think it's going to work. But this one woman was trying it anyways, because she said she was too busy she couldn't be high all day because she had too much to do. Well, my response was like, you know, you're not going to be able to do anything when you're dead. So, you know, slow down and take care of yourself, basically. But anyways, one thing that did happen with her is that all of her skin tags disappeared from her body.
Oh.
So you know, hey, cool stuff can happen, you know?
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And the whole journey of holistic healing, you know, it's, as Jessica was saying, we're bringing forth, you know, things that are ancient and that are simple and holistic, back into integrating it into our consciousness and awareness, and having relationship with ourselves about it. So as we journey holistically, then all these other aspects, you know, we find out whether they're physical things that come out, or mental emotional things, or greater spiritual connection, and a lot of the other aspects that blossom out of these holistic approaches are effortless, you know, like the skin tags just disappearing, you know, or suddenly, you know, we can sleep well, or suddenly, you know, we have this great spiritual connection because our pineal gland is decalcified, or you know, there's more energy. So
exactly. All of that is possible. And I'll say another thing too, is that what the endocannabinoid system does in our body, it's actually at the top of all of the other systems. It's related to all systems. It's related to keeping all of your other systems in homeostasis. So the options are limitless on what it can do. We're only at the beginning of figuring that out. So I encourage you to experiment and just, you know, add it as a supplement and see where it goes with you.
well, exactly, and that's part of the new paradigm of self-responsibility and know thyself, and having a genuine interest in how you're feeling in every way, and what are the cause and effects. And I'm passionate about it. I just love that.
I am absolutely passionate about people being their own advocates also, and feeling responsible for themselves. Nobody is saying that you have to be educated like a doctor, but you do have to ask those doctors the important questions and, you know, delve into the risks and benefits and ask for copies of all your reports and, you know, be in control and be the responsible one. And you can refer to the experts, but, you know, you have to ask those experts questions so that you at least have a basic understanding. I can tell you all the elderly people that come into my office and I ask them what medications they're on, and they have no idea. They hand me a piece of paper. They don't know what any of them are for. It's, you know, people need to be way more responsible than that.
Well, yeah, and that's honoring of self. And that's really what our gatherings are about every month, the Conscious Leader Circle, to first and foremost be conscious of ourselves, you know, leaders of our own life, and bring in the supports that we need. And as I say, be centered, you know, in our energy, our core energy, be connected to our essence, our power, and be conscious of what we're doing and who we are, and what we want, you know, and our actions, you know, and choices. So to be the conscious leader of yourself is really the new paradigm that's evolving as we are in the middle of this paradigm shift. And Jessica, you're a great.
I think it's part of the awakening. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I think that that's part of the reawakening that we're all going through. Yeah.
No, for sure. And you're a great conscious leader of our time. I think you were born with this, you know, as an ancient healer with this wisdom and inner knowing that you're sharing with all of us. And anybody that has an opportunity to work with Jessica or try her products or any of her services, I highly recommend, because she's very, very gifted in what she does.
Thanks.
So, the other comment here about fatty liver and kidney tumors. If you were interested in macrobiotic healing foods, then we can talk about that. We use daikon radish, carrot daikon drink to help dissolve fatty liver. It was designed for fatty liver. It's very inexpensive. You make it at home. It costs almost nothing. And the ingredients are pretty readily available, like more or less. And same with kidney. There's a Azuki bean tea, but I won't get into that. But just so you know, there's lots of integrated approaches in the holistic field that you can add. So you can enjoy some CBD and some daikon radish. So, and
I think you're right, Lydia. Above all is diet. That is the #1 medicine. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can see it in humans, but as you also mentioned with horses, there's no you know, kind of, you know, power of positive thinking. Not that they're not positive, they are, but when you feed your horses a well-balanced diet, they can live and they have movement, you know, and all of that kind of stuff. But they can easily live, you know, into their 30s, 40s, and 50s, unless there's some, you know, different circumstances. But same for all of us. Like I firmly believe we can all be perfectly healthy, you know, body, mind, and spirit, of well over 120. And I've always looked forward to my senior years. So, because it's just going to get easier. It's supposed to get easier when you're older, right? Like not harder.
Yeah. I definitely don't buy into the mentality of, well, I'm getting older and that's just it.
No.
And, you know, I'm going to live the suffering life. Well, that's the common mentality, you know, in the Western world anyways, you know.
No, we're just evolving out of that.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
There's a new paradigm evolving, and life keeps getting better as the longer we're on the earth, right?
That's right.
It doesn't mean we won't age, but we won't degenerate, right? Like I'm not going to look when I'm 80 like I look when I'm 50 or when I'm 20, but I will have greater spiritual connection. I'll have greater ease in relationship with self. I'll have full physical vitality and mobility, I'll have greater emotional balance and mental clarity, because I've been initiated through the journey of life, you know. Like,
Yeah.
but any other questions for our amazing Jessica today?
Yes.
Oh,
it's
Teresa.
on the phone.
Yeah, Teresa's on the
Yes,
phone.
Oh, okay.
Well, Jessica, thank you so very much for this amazing, amazing information. You just opened up my whole world to CBD. I had no idea that there were so many healing properties to the CBD oil. But my question specifically is, like, I suffer from chronic, well, I don't want to say suffer. Okay, what is, like, would CBD oil be effective for chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, and IBS? Because those seem to go hand in hand for so many people. And I'm wondering if there is kind of an underlying connection to all of this, and if CBD oil would be helpful for this.
Great question. I think CBD for those very complex illnesses, it would have a part to play amongst everything else you're doing. I think it would be beneficial to add in. If somebody was only doing CBD, I would say that that's not enough. Those are very complex issues. Of course, with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, there may be some physical trauma that's happened in the body, or some kind of a viral illness or something like that. That would have to be looked at. But of course, with those illnesses, one of the main issues is getting a restful sleep, where your muscle tears repair overnight and things like that. So yes, I think it would be something very valuable to add into your overall larger routine of what you will be doing. But you would need to do more also.
Okay, any last question for Jessica or comment?
I just had you kept referring to endocannabinoid, or how do you spell that? Or
And endocannabinoid. So here, let me look at that. I'll just spell it out for you. So endo, E-N-D-O, and then cannabinoid, C-A-N-N-A-B-I-N-O-I-D, cannabinoid.
okay, I was way off.
Coming from the cannabis plant, cannabinoids are referring to all the various molecules that can be in the plant, such as, I can just name like a more complete list for you. We have CBG, THC, obviously CBD, CBC, CBGV, THCV, CBDV, CBCV. So those are some of the cannabinoids that are in the plant. And then when we're talking about endocannabinoid, we have those two cannabinoids that our body manufactures, right? So those are anandamide and 2-AG. If you want me to try to tell you what 2-AG is, 2-arachidonyl glycerol.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do ship products out regularly. So if you're geographically not near me, that's fine. I do ship products out.
Do you have
Whereabouts
visitors,
are
or-
you?
Yeah, where are you? Yeah.
I have an office by the airport and then also by Port Perry. So within the GTA, and then Durham region also, Durham, Kawartha Lakes, that area.
We have I have a family member in Port Perry, so.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I'm just about 15 minutes from the center of town there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. So anything else before we go into, Richard, would you like to do, we didn't discuss it, would you like to do a guided meditation for us?
Sure.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you, Jessica. It's been an honor and pleasure having you here with us today. And I think you changed all our lives. So
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. You know, we can do a follow-up. We can get more detailed. We can get more scientific. We can get more spiritual. This is just, you know, an overview. So
I'd love that. I think everyone would love that to have you join us again and expand on everything that we discussed today. So it's 11:55. I recognize and respect everybody's time. So if you have to leave at 12, that's no problem. And thank you all for joining us today. And if you can stay, we're going to do about 7-8 minute guided meditation. And I'm going to channel Reiki to the group while Richard does his beautiful guided meditations. And then if you did want to hang out after, then I hang out with everybody after, whoever wants to stay. So there's lots of opportunity. So let's take a nice deep breath and imagine ourselves in a beautiful place, in perfect health in every way. And that golden white light coming in, healing every cell in our body. And I will pass it over to Richard.
All right. So we're relaxing into the sense of being powerful. It's not like we could ever not be powerful. We are power itself. All we're doing is relaxing into using that power, being with that power in a more and more pleasant way. And that pleasantness is health itself. It is chi. You know, there is that infinite energy field of well-being that is just there like a treasure for all of us to feel and to experience. And the real wealth and the real power is the willingness to simply feel good, which is health itself. And so we allow ourselves to play on 3 levels at once here. One is that bath of well-being, spirit, chi, love. We allow ourselves to bathe in that vibration, which automatically brings well-being to us. So we're there in that bath of well-being, and then we're there on the soul level, that there is unique music that is only ours, that only we can know, that individuates that gorgeous bath of well-being into the music of us, the music that only you know, the music that is being real with your true self. And then the 3rd level where most people play, the intellect and the body and the emotions playing in 3D. And when we think that that's all that we are, then our power is limited. But as we relax into these other levels, relax into being a self, relax into knowing that you know your own music, your own heroic role in this life, that you know what satisfies, you know your destiny, and to relax into the one who knows, which is not the intellect. And from that knowing, then we inspire the intellect. From that bath of well-being, we allow that bath of well-being to fill our unique soul, so that we relax into both that bath and the knowing of our uniqueness. That uniqueness that is like coming home to the self and coming home to the infinite bath of the one who loves the self. We allow ourselves to return to that power, that effortless power, that Tao, that source. And we allow ourselves to experience what we already are, which is one with that bath of well-being. And we just breathe into that bath. We rejoice in that. And if stresses come up and come out, beautiful. And so we just allow into our lives a level of pleasantness, a level of peace, a level of quiet confidence that is our birthright, that is our wealth, that is our nature, that is the abundance that we automatically, effortlessly bring to the world just by being in this state. We're always bringing our state to the world. And so we're allowing ourselves to rest into that beingness, that radiant beingness, that unlimited wealth that is our nature, that is our source, that is our mother, that is that which transcends all the ups and downs of this world, which will be there because that's the movie, you know. But beyond that is a consistency of well-being that we gain and lose and gain and lose. And now we allow ourselves to be more and more frequently in that beauty, in that gorgeousness, in that well-being, in that home, in that wholeness, in that joy. And we allow that joy to come down from infinity, down into our unique soul, into 3D time-space game that we were born and incarnated to play in. We allow those three worlds to be one, to be consistently in touch with each other. And the soul reaches backwards into this bath of gorgeousness, and it reaches forward into the personality to bring it to the world, and back and gets filled up. And as we receive, we automatically give. And we allow ourselves to rest into the certainty. This is our nature. This is our destiny. This is the place we live from. This is that which is already whole, already beautiful, already complete. We're not seeking anything except to just be one with it, just feel it, and allow it to guide us, because it's also smart as well as happy. It's also powerful as well as happy. And the gifts of power and perfect intelligence and guidance and joy all go together in the wholeness of us. And we give enormous thanks that we get to live from this place.
So we'll take a nice deep breath and we'll just slowly return. Okay, everybody's back. That was beautiful, Richard. Thank you very much. And I was just in the channeling mode, so it's hard to come out of it. I get going, and then it's sort of like putting the brakes on in the middle of the highway. You're like, oh, I'm stopped. Okay, well, thank you all again for joining us at our Conscious Leader Circle. We're each the conscious leaders of our lives, and we've all had the courage to come here to the planet at this time to live through the most one of the most epic and phenomenal paradigm shifts. So it's no small feat to just be here on Earth and try to navigate the best we can by activating, our own self-mastery. It's a time to remember who we are, and that we did come with the tools within us to get through these times and to guide others. And the young people on the earth today are looking to our example as well of the new paradigm of light that we're evolving into. So thank you again.